we came up with the idea that Miss Lou would be just that vein of gold. We've got something unique with the fabric and Jono's fabulous shapes and Teiger's incredible storytelling.
The toolbox that I've been talking about, the things, it's like, it's permission to have fun. Have fun when people come in, talk about the stories and talk about how, Lou's doing this and it's a family business.
And it's also, for me, it's the huge thing of just seeing the joy on someone's face when they put on a frame that fits well. That's what it all distills down to, is just that joy that you get.
Welcome to The Focused View, the podcast for eye care professionals across Australia. Brought to you by Opticare. In each episode, we bring together leading eye care, optical and business professionals to share valuable insights, practical tips, and the latest trends shaping the optical business landscape. I'm your host, Michael Nasser, and together we'll explore innovative strategies for practice growth, patient care, and business success in the eye care industry. Whether you're starting your career, managing a practice, or just looking to stay ahead of the field, The Focused View is your source for inspiration and knowledge. Guys, welcome to the show. It's really good to have you.
Oh, thank you so much.
So much. Yeah, thanks for having us. We're very excited. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Now, before we get going, Louise, you are wearing something, and I think for the purpose of the audience that are listening, they're not gonna see it, but it may encourage you to jump on and have a look either through YouTube or through our reels on LinkedIn to see exactly what Louise is wearing, because it is quite intriguing, to say the least.
It's well, I started by saying, it's the latest Miss Lou, but it's not, and I cannot wait till the day that Miss Lou can do this. But yeah, after Odmar, we had a great trade fair, and so I did treat myself to the Apple Vision Pro. So I have been living inside this for about 2 weeks. It just allows me to have this. At the moment, there's a massive screen in front of me with you and Teiger's faces in it. So just productive wise. Between ChatGPT and this month, I have been so productive for the last 5 weeks. It's it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
highly recommended.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, I was taken aback when I first logged in. I was like, whoa, but no.
Okay, what are you wearing?
Yeah, very productive. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get going. So can you guys, can you share the story behind the Elusive Miss Lou? How did it all begin? What inspired you both, I guess, to the fresh start, and talk to me about the product and the brand, and if you can, a little bit about yourselves and how you got into the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got into it by marrying into it. I met Jonathan 30 years ago now. It's our 30th anniversary this year, next month. And I'd always been interested in design. I'd been designing furniture and products and, graphic design, the whole thing. But it took until Jono wanted to create a new brand to launch at Silmo in 2007. And we came up with Jono Hennessy, and we worked on that together and launched it in Paris Silmo 2007. And from then on, really 2007 until 2020 was basically a university degree, following Jono around, going to the factories, watching, learning the design, learning the process. Our family motto should be quality, comfort, and fit. We should have a tattoo somewhere, Teiger. So that was my intro into the whole thing, was through my husband Jonathan, and then Teiger.
Yeah, well, I was sort of born into it. I sort of think of I think we've had a bit of a similar upbringing, haven't we? In factories and warehouses, throwing things around and having fun. Yeah, it was, I sort of think of Jono Hennessy and Cardbond as siblings, growing up with them, and, from a very young age being in the warehouse and packing orders and helping out adjust frames and things like that. So I've kind of been doing it since I was so little, or been hearing about it, especially, you guys running the business from home and things like that. So it's always around. And then I veered away and went off to film school and had a really good time and made some great friends and some cool films. And then, 2020 came around and COVID hit, and mum came and said, hey, do you want to start something with me? And we can work on a brand together and have a really fun time and enjoy ourselves. And so that was sort of my proper step into the industry. And it's been since then just so much fun, having a great time, being able to sort of, steer our own ship and keep it small and manageable and have a lot of fun spreading joy.
It's definitely a brand that's making waves. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about it. People are quite familiar with it now and aware of it. Louise, you mentioned, the Jono Hennessy experience, and obviously,
Yes.
what did you take from that, and what were, I guess, that was almost the origins in some ways of the Elusive Miss Lou, and I guess if you speak about the evolution of the Elusive Miss Lou and how it came about, can you sort of tie it into how it stemmed from, I guess, the Jono Hennessy days, and what you learned out of that and what you brought into it as we sort of start to unpack, the story of the Elusive Miss Lou and the brand?
Absolutely. Yeah. So with Jono Hennessy, I ended up doing all the colors and the materials. So Jono's like an absolute expert at shapes. And then we kind of divided, but we still like came together and worked on the colors and fabrics and things like that. But fabric was always kind of a small part of Jono Hennessy, and it just worked for me. We used to buy the fabric from Liberty in London, but the problem was that you would get blotches in the fabric. So you would get like a blob of color in the wrong place. So I always thought there's potential to make a fabric collection, but at the time it just wasn't the right time. And I sort of spoke to different people about it, but it was like, no, we're going to do it this way. So to finally sell the business, have a break, have a rethink, and then come up with the idea of actually, what about if I design my own fabric? Because I'm very detail driven. So I love, I do very, very miniature painting and tiny drawings and things like that. So I could meld that passion with creating fabric specifically for frames. And it was something just where I saw a gap in the market from doing the Silmo shows every year. We were in the village, so we're in the design section. So you could see all the industry leaders from around the world coming together. And it's just something that wasn't out there. So I kind of, with Teiger, we came up with the idea that Miss Lou would be just that vein of gold. We do love our outback opal hunters and our Aussie gold hunters. It's a kind of the analogy is we're just that little vein of gold running through a sea of black and tortoiseshell that we've got something unique with the fabric and Jono's fabulous shapes and Teiger's incredible storytelling. That is you didn't say that, but yeah, that was what really came out of film school for Teiger, which is an incredible writer. So we created this persona of, very proud mother. We came up with the persona of the Elusive Miss Lou because I am elusive. I'm quite an introvert. If I could wear this all the time, I probably would. And Teiger's the front man. But so Teiger came up with this whole persona of the Elusive Miss Lou. She's this our target market. She's like a middle-aged lady that travels the world looking for amazing artifacts and fabrics around the world. And so all of our frames have got a story. Each fabric has a story from the memoirs of Miss Lou. So you can see I'm a bit passionate.
Is that the idea that you brought in? I mean, that's obviously from the film days and from the storytelling. Is that something when you came into it, that was your sort of take? And can you explain, was that something that you had from the outset, or is it something that you developed as you learnt more? Or was it something you're I think while we're developing this brand, I think it's an important thing that we do this storytelling component to it. At what point did you identify that, I guess, that item or that aspect of it all?
I think so. From my time at film school, and it was one of the big takeaways, especially from our writing class and things, was that the more specific you get to an experience, or the more specific you get to an idea, the wider the resonance you'll find with it. So if you make something really personal, you'll actually find that it'll reach a lot more people and it'll connect with a lot more people than if you try to be a generalist and you try to do something for everyone. And that kind of philosophy I really liked, and I wanted that to be part of the Miss Lou. And like one was saying, the vein of gold, it's we're not trying to be everything for everyone. We're just trying to be authentic and something that's specific to us. And for me, it's spreading that fun and that joy was, let's create this character, this sort of, jet setting kind of, right back at the beginning, we came up with, okay, who is the Elusive Miss Lou? And we were looking at women from history and people that inspired us and things. And it was, Amelia Earhart was a big inspiration and people that have done incredible things. And I wanted to create this kind of, 20s woman who was sort of, jet setting around the world and doing a lot of research of travel. I'm a big lover of travel and seeing new places and experiencing new cultures and things. And bringing that into, and I think that's quite an Australian thing as well. Like no matter where you go in the world, you'll run into an Australian. You can be there, somewhere very, very distant. But so I think that storytelling aspect and being specific and being niche actually ends up with a wider audience. And I kind of think of our customers and people that wear Miss Lou as our audience. And so I want to give the feel like as many different feelings as I can about Miss Lou, and that, oh, this is cool and interesting. And, oh, this was designed based on, the bamboo forest in Japan, or this was the Austro Nostalgia was designed based on Miss Lou. This was a real one, being in the back of your parents' car, watching the traffic, the power lines going past and things. So it's all these little nuggets of it's
story, truth.
Yes, yeah.
And something you mentioned early on, and obviously I can tell because I love the fact that you do build it as a story, and it does make it personal. So I can totally see how that's coming together. Something you mentioned was, you wanted to do something with this brand that was exactly the way you wanted. I guess, the way that you're shaping Elusive Miss Lou at the moment, your design approach, the way you run the brand, like what does that actually mean for you guys? And was that something that you were super strategic about from the beginning?
Yeah, I think it was just the freedom to create. It's like before there was like lots of people involved in the business and lots of opinions, but I think it was just the distillation over the years of kind of like the gut feeling, and I trusted my gut feeling, and it proved to be, it was work.
Yeah.
And that there were people out there that got me and got the brand and got the product. Yeah. Teiger.
Yeah, authenticity, right? Like, and that's what I've wanted from the beginning, is to sort of be more of the support role of you as well, of being like, you're the artist and this is your vision, and this is you knew in your heart. And I know, like, I could see it growing up through John Hennessy, that you wanted to spread those wings kind of thing, those creative wings, and with all of your art and everything. So when we started, and I just was like, absolutely know that this is going to work, because like we say, it's personal and authentic and specific to you.
And it's funny, I was talking to Jono's other son, Jasper, on the weekend. And I said, it's funny, it took us both to get to 50 to work out what we actually wanted to do. And so like, I started Miss Lou and with Teiger, and it's just like, it's my absolute passion. It's like, I adore what I do every day. And Jasper's doing the same thing in Bali. He's moved up to Bali, got married, had children, and has opened like the most amazing wellness spa, having its first anniversary in a couple of weeks, and kicking goals with it. So it took us both a long time to grow up, but we did in the end. Teiger's much more grown up than we are.
Right. Well, you mentioned, and we've already sort of discussed to some extent a bit of the philosophy and the design. And if we sort of get into the frames and the brand and the actual product itself, you describe each frame as being unique, and we've obviously spoken a little bit about that. They're a bit different. They're a little bit special. Can you talk us through the design process, whether it's sort of sitting by the sea, creating, artworks, or, turning them into eyewear, or, things? How does it all start, and how does it come through your mind? I mean, driving on the road and looking at power poles and sort of seeing, that cadence of power poles, passing by with the power lines.
Yeah,
exactly. Right.
Like lying in the back of the Kingswood in Western Australia, and driving through the bush and just seeing that.
Yeah.
So it's literally called Austro Nostalgia, because it's like because my parents are gypsies, and so we've moved all over Australia. Born in England, but grew up all over Australia, the Great Barrier Reef and WA and everywhere, and Bali after that. But so it's super inspired by nature. So I think that was a big part of it, was leaving the city in 2019 and moving to Avalon. So just being in nature and being by the sea was just very calming for my soul, and just kind of opened up the creativity, and having the time to those couple of years before we did Miss Lou, just to explore that creativity and finding other people, in the village. And I've done embroidery. We did some Bruce Gould stuff and all different sorts of things. And then, so the inspiration is definitely nature for me. And I like I said, I like the details. So I'll go to like microscopic levels. So of patterns and leaves and all sorts of things. But I've got a very strange brain. It's a very strange brain to live in. So where all the ideas come from, sometimes it's just sitting down with my because I drew everything on my iPad, and it's just doodling a shape, and then it just grows from there, and then it doesn't stop. I think like some of the design I put out as colouring cards at Oddma. So people would actually see like the detail. So it was the colour on one side, and then they could actually colour it in themselves on the other side as a bit of meditation, a bit of adult colouring kind of stuff. But yeah, nature's my big one.
And I guess beyond looking good, you focus heavily on comfort and fit, right? So, I mean, that's an important part of eyewear as well. I mean, it's not just the looks and that. So I guess, without stating the obvious, why is that so important to you? And how do you balance this whole fashion and ideation concept with functionality of the frames?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can design the most fantastic looking frame, but if you put it on and it's digging in the sides or it's harsh on your bridge, it's just, and that's the experience of watching clients at trade fairs. So the French in particular, they always felt in the bridge to make sure that it was smooth. At one point, I wrote down a checklist of what we do with every frame. And this is experience of the factories, the drawings, and then getting your black sample, looking at how the frame's actually constructed. Every single stage is handmade. It's not, the one thing is like cutting the frame out. Everything else is hand done. So you can affect every process. And I calculate there was 84 processes in putting a frame together. Wow. So you have to think of every piece. We do a thing called a 3-point round out on the end of the temple tips. So when you put it on, it's like, oh, that's comfortable. It's not digging in the sides. So many different things. But yeah, it goes back to the family mantra of quality, comfort, fit. John always says you have to put a frame on and go, oh my God, it's comfortable. If you can, like I said, you can do the best frame in the world, and if it's not comfortable, then get it off my face, kind of thing. Yeah. What do you reckon, Teiger?
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say, like, Dad is such a big progenitor of that, of making sure that, every design is okay. Well, it needs to be adjusted this much, even by a millimeter is important when it's on your face. Like the difference in a millimeter on a bridge fit or anything is difference between something giving you a headache or not. And so it's really, really important because, like Mum said, you can have the coolest looking frame or the best, anything. And if it's uncomfortable, then it doesn't work. And it's definitely a balancing act between the art and the design in that respect of what looks good versus what feels good. And I think we're recently are in a really, really good place with that as well, with some of the new models that have come out, like the Glam and the Piazza, which are a bit more of the petite side. We sort of say like we've got 3 different parts of the range, which is like the art and soul and the wearable and the what's
we've got the elegant funk, which is your middle collection, and then bold, which is the crazy stuff. That's my little play area. Yeah. But when it comes down to it, it's a medical device, so it has to work. You're wearing it, all day. It has to work. So if it's not, then you failed.
And with regards to color and material, like we've sort of alluded a little bit to a bit of that. Yeah. Obviously, yes, functionality, it's got to fit, it's got to work. How do you approach, the color and the materials, and I guess more of that design aspect now, sort of going back onto that with each collection, and especially with sort of trying to determine if it will resonate with people? How do you balance that whole, I guess it's almost like you're trying to predict the fashion or the trend, or, like what's going to be.
Absolutely.
Especially with a brand like this, I feel like it's about sort of influencing what, the next wave of design is going to look like and what's going to take and all that sort of stuff. And you're probably not looking to the masses with regards to what they're doing. So what's your opinion on that, and how do you manage that in trying to create a commercially viable product?
Absolutely. That's a really interesting question, because Jono and I were discussing that the other day. And it's like things like WGSN, color forecasting and all that is out there. But with my gut, it was good because I was gut feeling stuff. And then WGSN was reinforcing it, was confirming I was on the right track. But now, I'm working like a year ahead at the moment. And so I was saying to Jono, it's like like humble brag. I'm at the front. So I'm forecast. I'm kind of leading the way of what the color will be. And I don't know where it comes from. It's influences from everywhere, just what's happening in the world and all of that. It comes down to that. But it was really interesting. That's exactly what we were talking about.
So it's almost like gut instinct. You can just, it's just
instinct now. And I've learned to trust that instinct, because in the beginning, I was like, oh, I've got to, in one model, I try and please everybody all of the time, which is useless. That's, you're doomed to fail. But it was good. I've been working with Alyssa at Richard McLean Optometrist. We've got 3 brand ambassadors around Australia. And Alyssa would come over and we'd look at the whole collection. So yeah, that's breaking it down into the 3 sections.
Yeah.
So we've got like the art and craft section is a lot of fabric and easy wearable reading frames. And then Elegant Funk is our kind of core collection, which is you'll do, and I've done analysis and all sorts of things. So it'll be 60% fabric, 20% fancy acetate, 20% block. And then bold is more like creative acetate. So I'll design my own acetate in that section. Yeah. So it's
we also have sorry.
Oh yeah, no, that was the other thing was that I've learned in the last year or so working with Tracy the Glasses Lady in WA and also Alyssa is colour theory. Really interesting. So the colour theory is like, I think it was big in the 80s. Ladies when they got their colours done. So it's a season. So you're an autumn, winter, spring, summer. And we did an event over at the Glasses Lady and a colour therapist was there. So she actually gave me the fold out cards. So now I make sure that in a model, I've got seasons covered as well. And it's even on the website now. So I've got like a little circle there on the frame. Oh, that's a spring frame. That's an autumn frame. It's incredible. During the events, when you're seeing ladies who understand it, try on the frame in their right season. Oh my God, they look amazing. It's fantastic. And same at, Angela Morris in Bathurst. We were doing that. A lady came in with a couple of years ago now. A lady came in with her colour chart and she was like, it has to match my chart. And it worked. They put the frame on and they just looked amazing. So that's been a big influence too.
You know, there really is a theory behind everything almost, isn't there? If you can sort of break down the nuances and speak to people that know and haven't, have I guess, researched the matter and explored it. I mean, it's a whole different way of thinking, I can imagine.
It's the whole psychology. Exactly. Like even in film, there's colour theory. You did colour theory with film.
Totally.
As well. Like, that comes into it.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, it's very, because we're small and it's us at the head office and our amazing agents, out and dad and grandparents and things. But because if you call, you speak to myself or mum.
Me.
It's like you just speak to us. So all of the feedback comes directly to us. And then when you're designing and we do like a design meeting and we present all of the different frames that we're going to start ordering, you go, oh, I remember so-and-so was saying that they really wanted something like a bright, like Terry was saying she really wanted, our Victorian sales agent was saying, oh, we really need something red. Like, I'm getting
solid
asked
red.
for red, solid red. So through them as well is such a great amount of feedback to, because that's
we can
hard to get.
You mentioned that, you like to keep things quite personal and small and hands-on with the company and the way that it is developed. And, when we was discussing the pre-interview, you'd mentioned that, just sort of post-ODMA, how it, just sort of exploding. And it's, you're at this point of what do we do? Like, do we keep going with the DNA and the essence of what we got, we have what we're doing now, or do we sort of flick the switch and go a little bit more, I guess a bit more larger? So, you mentioned you're packing the boxes, you're answering the phone calls yourselves, you're doing the design and you're doing all of that, all that sort of aspect. Why is that direct connection, I guess, for you guys so important? And do you see that benefiting your customers, the stores that you work with?
Absolutely. It's the joy. I just love doing what we're doing, and I don't want to become just like separated and just a designer in the corner. Kind of being a control freak might have something to do with it as well.
Most business owners are.
That's
the truth of it.
There's no such thing. It's like I was up till 11 o'clock the other night working. We've got like a little app that I made for the reps for ordering, and I was up at 11 o'clock, up till 11 o'clock in my headset, like working out how to do credits on the app and stuff. So and we're, like you said, we're super lucky, like because it has exploded in the last 5 weeks or so. My parents had moved back from WA. And so this morning, Teiger was training his grandfather on the art of packing a Miss Lou box. They were lucky because they did run the whole distribution centre for Jono Hennessy for like 12 years. So they know the industry inside out as well, like with it. But it's important, and it's balancing of like, if we do want to expand, we just want to work with like-minded people. So we're in discussion with a lovely small group in New Zealand. We've been contacted from Canada with a guy that's got 3 stores, and he's now got samples. He's going to take them to his friend at Silmo. But it's for England. But it's just working one-on-one with practices. It's
giving them just the confidence in our product that they know okay, if I call up, I'm going to speak to Teiger or I'm going to speak to Louise, and they are in the warehouse and they have all of the product there, and I'm going to get immediate, response on what I need. So I think of it as like, I want to give as many tools to the practices as possible to make the patient's experience as great as it can be. And that goes back to the limited edition being printed on the temples. That goes to our frame cases, which are big. That goes to us answering the phones and keeping it intimate and keeping it, that connection going is important for the entire process, because things can,
support.
And you hear about places that overgrow themselves and then you lose that connection and the quality slips, and that's a nightmare.
I guess, and as you're growing, and it sounds like obviously, things are happening and the goals are being kicked. How are you making sure that you're going to stay true to those, I guess, original vision, the original plan, keeping things personal, meaningful, as hopefully as, you would hope, as going time, you will get bigger. There will be, different challenges and new challenges. One of them will be keeping that level of, I guess, personalization that it seems that your frames have. And I would say in turn, your customers probably have too. I mean, you've mentioned a few, Louise, and I'm obviously familiar with a couple in that regard, but I know there is a real essence there of, the individual and catering to them, and how do you intend to balance that as you grow? And I guess the scale component comes into the equation potentially.
So for me, it's things like the limited edition number that we would do. So we would I think our max would be like 150 in a limited edition. That would be the maximum number that we would ever go to. So we'd never sort of exceed that level. That's one of the things. I mean, we focus on Australia and soon also New Zealand. That we know how, from experience with like you guys with Jono Hennessy, we know like how far we can push that ticket before we're going to have to do things like,
You've seen that side of the equation. So when that's coming up, and you'll know how to mitigate those when you see them. It's a wheel that it's a process you've been through before. It's a wheel that's been turned.
Exactly.
Thank you both. It comes down to quality over quantity, over the weekend too. Through one of them, we've just done a big thing this morning as getting a frame from Queensland to Victoria to keep the patient happy. So that distillation, rather than going, oh my God, all these people want it, we can go here and we can go there and do everything.
As they discover it, it seems like they want more and more of it, and so I guess that's a challenge that you're going to have to balance. But if we speak about the dispensers particularly, and the stores and practices that are listening and practice owners that are listening, what would you say, I guess, is key to helping them stay connected with their patient, with a frame? How can they make that connection between patient and frame, and that journey that you guys can tell so well with regards to that story? How can they start to have those types of conversations with their customers, kind of taking it away from price or brand? Because so often people walk in and they want a brand, which I think as time develops is getting less and less, I think, depending on your demographic. But people want something unique, people want something bespoke, and I think when that starts to happen, you can take that conversation away. But how do you guys manage that conversation, knowing that there are brands out there, or there could be something cheaper, or all that sort of stuff?
I was thinking that with going back to like the toolbox of tools that we want to give to the practices of things like we're limited edition, knowing that you'll never see anyone else in the exact same pair of Miss Lou frames as you have, because of the way that the fabric is cut. So there's only going to be, say, 70, and of those 70, no two are even going to be alike in the fabrics. So things like that, like it's constant tools. Our frame boxes, I always say, so that's really important to me, and as part of the business, is it's something that is presented to the patient after the practice has given their amazing service. I don't ever want it to be a disappointment when you get your frame and it's not presented in such a way. But I think by opening it and presenting it, it really, makes the patient feel special. And with the stories as well and things like that the patient can then go and look up their frame and see, oh wow, Miss Lou was in this part of India during this time, and that's awesome. That's where this frame is from, and things. So you get that sort of feeling in it. So that's, I think,
and that's where
toolbox.
That's where we try, from the moment that they place their order, the box that they get. So as soon as they place their first order, they get their delivery. It's got travel stickers all over the box, like it's been around the world. You open it, it smells like Miss Lou. It's got literally my perfume sprayed in the box.
Wow.
The picture, so it's an experience.
It's an experience.
So that's the huge thing. We do welcome boxes, like new account welcome boxes, which is filled with all little treasures and bits and pieces that they can use around the store. So they're starting, like even from the aroma, you're just starting to get a vibe of the whole brand.
It's almost like all the senses, right? So you're trying to hit all the senses. You've got the the look, the feel. You've got the smell.
That's it. Oh, we need to do music, Teiger.
I know. We are doing
music.
You know,
Teiger
maybe
now,
like one of those birthday cards that you open up that's make music. That you know that
You'd one of those.
Create a custom tune and put it in a card so that when they open it, it has a little tune, and maybe you can spray perfume at the same time. So
and butterflies spring out of the box.
Like it. I mean,
and then we give you all those tools, like social media. We give you all the stories for social media, our videos, and all sorts of things. So
yeah. And I think when you're pitching away from price or brand name specifically, you know, there is an element of education that comes into it. So talking about why the frames are different, and that's effectively what we're saying that this toolbox does affect. It allows you to speak in a different context, in a different way about the frame, which is not about the brand or the price. So can you speak more about the advice you'd give to practices when it comes to educating patients on why frames feel better, or why a color might suit you better than someone else, or why, you know, maybe there's a technicality aspect, you know, that makes it a little bit different? You know, what's the importance of that, and what's the advice you'd give to stores or anyone that's owning a practice that's sort of, you know, thinking about these types of things?
Oh, I'd say, like, one, you're supporting an Australian artist and an Australian brand, Australian design especially as well. Jono, Dad isn't, Jono, it feels weird to say Jono. Dad
I'm
is
the
in
same predicament, don't worry.
Yeah, you don't have
like George or Dad, or, you know, what do I say?
It's weird, isn't it?
Totally feel it.
Oh, Dad, Mr. Sceats.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Sceats is my father. So he's, you know, Australian Design Hall of Fame, that kind of thing. You're supporting an Australian brand, and so far, even included in that, you're supporting like women in design, in Australian design as well, which is, you know, it's a very male dominated industry. But when you are purchasing these frames, you know that they were designed by someone who understands
what we're after.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's it's
you get the product better than, I guess, most people, and whether it's the design or whether it's the functionality, you've got your mantra too. And I feel like, you know, you're sticking to that, and if that's being done, then it's almost about the experience of the frame and the story. So there's so many aspects of the product where it looks beyond the product, the story, you know, where the inspirations come from, you know, all that type of tied together. And then obviously, I guess the challenge, and this leads me to the brand ambassadors, because I feel, because the other thing that I've noticed is you're very clear as to who your market is. It's not a mass market product. So you're not for everyone. So there's probably going to be a lot of people listening that are going to be like, oh, you get what you're saying, but I kind of don't get it. And it's like, well, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are people that are going to totally get it. You know, this is what it's about. I get it. And it resonates. And so for those people and those brand ambassadors, you know, it's a term that I think you guys have used a few times. What's that experience like? And I guess they're really good at the educational piece with regards to talking about why your product's better, and that's where you see success. But again, talk to me about the practice partners, the brand ambassadors, and how do you see that making, you know, I guess, a successful relationship with your brand, and I guess, you know, being an independent and interacting with customers, you know?
Absolutely. And it was something that we came up with after doing in-store promotions. So we did the first in-store promotion was with Angela Morris and Tracy out there and the girls in Bathurst. And it was just seeing that they had the passion. You know, it's like, well, we sat in our little office in Avalon during COVID and created this whole story and brand and beautiful frames. But it was when we took it out there and they got it. They just absolutely fell in love with it. They understood. They knew the clients. I always saw when a practice was ordering with their particular patients in mind, that's the kind of store that I want to be in. It's where they totally get it. Where it's just like, oh, we just need some color. That's fine as well. It's like, let's say, put Miss Lou in the window. We've got the most amazing window displays. Put it in. You'll attract people. You show as an independent that you have got something different. They might come in and buy something else, but you've brought them in because of our like cool point of sale and all of that kind of thing and the color. But the brand ambassadors, they really get it. So we've only got 3 around Australia. They carry the whole collection. So we've given them the whole bag. So they go through that, and they can, because they're all doing their color theory as well. So they can style. They're very good stylists.
Is that a
So
must? Like, do they have to do the color theory?
No,
no. It's just something that they do.
It was funny. Yeah, it was something that linked all three of them, that they really got that. Yeah. And it's all part of styling. And Teiger and I were talking before, and it's even if you've got one dispenser in the practice that's into it, and then they can spread, even if you just look at the website, it's got the colors down there. Just, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of like doing a little bit of research on it, make a huge difference. You can then look at somebody's eye color and skin color and hair color and just go, actually, this bright green one will look amazing on you. And it does. Then I think the patient has confidence in you, and then they will follow you and trust you in your choices, So I think that's a big part of the brand ambassadors. Is it's most successful for the practice as well. It's like when you've got somebody in the practice that gets it, just give them their head a little bit, just like trust the dispensers. They're out there at the front seeing the patients every day. Yeah, give them a little trust. We are happy to trial product as well. It's like we do a thing called a box of brightness. So if you're, far regional, it's like we've done all over the place in the country. I've just sent one to England. We do a box of brightness. So we'll send you 25 frames, take them for a couple of weeks, have a play with it. But you've got to feel the product and, and see if it works for you. Like I said, it won't work for everybody.
No.
But,
well, that's
and
it.
then
You know
feedback
your,
what doesn't
feels
work.
like you know your customer. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you know what you're looking for when it comes to that customer. And obviously it's very inspiring and, with regards to, creating something and the confidence, obviously you've got the confidence within yourselves to back what you're doing and to know that you're doing the right thing. And it's not a take over the world mentality or, it's more about let's create something for us that we're happy with, that represents us, that speaks about us. And let's put that into the market and whoever vibes it. And that's really, finding your tribe, I guess, more or less.
It's that strength. Yeah. It's developing that strength and that let's work together on this. It's like a sense of ownership, for them. It's like, we will listen to you. And if you're saying that's what you need, do you know what? I trust you. Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. So,
Well, the brand ambassadors are almost friends first.
Yeah. Oh, they're family.
It's
they're family now.
Exactly.
It's a family business, right? And I get that tone as well. And so your customers become an extension of your family effectively, and they believe in you and they trust you. And it's a very different mentality. And again, I speak to this a lot from different contexts with regards to the corporate side of the industry and the independent side of the industry. And, even within independence, you've got your conglomerates that sort of, and again, I'm going to be a little bit controversial here, but it's just my opinion. It's my podcast, so I can say it. But, they say that they're independent, but are they really independent, even though you're claiming that you are? And the reality is, if you sort of peel the onion a bit, you're actually not as independent as you think. But people that really take this on, or, they have the ability to really, and something, to control your destiny or to, be in control of what you want to do. And that's the essence of small business, being a control for it, being able to do that.
Absolutely, it's 100%. Yeah.
It's totally your vision. It's who you are. And so, you look for that and they look for you. And when you find each other, it just creates a connection that
it's busy. It's exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Spot on. And I get it because I've experienced it. I know it, right? So there's some that corporate sort of tone, and you've got to give me this, this jargon that I hear it. And I'm like, stop it with the jargon. I'm not interested in that. Tell me about you.
Yes.
Tell me about what's important. Tell me about how I can help.
Exactly.
That's our huge thing. Is that's on the telephone. It's like, oh, hi, how are you, darling? How can I help? How can I help? That's like customer service. I've grown up in the hotel industry and all of that. So it's always like, how can I help? What can I do to make your life better? So that's kind of just in there in the background the whole entire time.
And that's the spreading joy, right? I think of it as like, you lay awake at night and go, if I won the lottery, what would I do? I do this, I do that, I do this. I think about the business the same way. It's like, if I run my own business, how would I run it? I think of myself when us as actually like not very good business people, because the sort of money side of it comes second to the feeling, like if we can spread joy and spread fun and things like that, that's kind of why I want to do it.
I guess it's a noble approach, I think, as well. And the hope is that in doing so, you find your tribe, you find your crowd, and they appreciate what you do. And then the money just looks after itself later on, and that's, and again, it's not about owning everything. It's more about finding your little thing and being happy with that. And I guess as the growth happens, and there's sort of, what we were sort of mentioning earlier with regards to challenges that you might face, but I think there is that lifestyle component and creating the business that you want. as opposed to, you know, what the market wants you to do too.
Yeah,
Louise, you mentioned strength as a word, you know, just a little bit ago. And I know you've been through some significant personal, a bit of a journey. I mean, I guess struggle is one way to put it, challenges.
Yeah.
How has that shaped your outlook on business and life? And, you know, as much as you're comfortable to, if you're happy to share what that was, and I guess,
absolutely.
You know, how has it helped you define what matters now?
It's crazy, isn't it? It's like working like fury, selling the business. Okay, now we can relax, move to Avalon. And 6 months later, saw back. Oh, that's a bit weird. It went on and on and on. And it turned out to be like an egg-sized tumor on my spinal cord. Wow. And it was metastatic stage 4 breast cancer. So I was like, oh, okay, wasn't expecting that. I mean, the good thing with stage 4 is you don't do chemo and things like that because it's already spread, so they can't do anything about that. So they did surgery to remove the tumor, so my leg wasn't kind of falling apart anymore, and it started a really good new targeted therapy. So at the moment, it's like, what am I now? 7 years, nearly 7 years on. There's no sign of cancer, which is incredible.
God, that's amazing.
I know. It's crazy.
Oh, wow,
it's like, it's so good. So anybody ever wants to talk about it, give me a call. I will counsel anyone through it. But I said to Teiger, like maybe a year afterwards, it's maybe in some ways the best thing that happened to me because I was a worrier and a stressor. Okay. And that just like put everything into perspective. And I was like, dude, so now I don't stress about anything. I'm going to do what I enjoy to do, what I enjoy doing. And I think that's massively helped. Like you said, we're not chasing money. And whenever you try and, you know, if your end goal is, I want to be a millionaire, it's never going to work. That's not the goal. It's having fun along the way and doing something every day that I'm absolutely mad about, working with awesome people. Like I love all of our customers. I love working with Teiger. Like how lucky am I? And Jono, who's downstairs as well. And now my parents. It's just lovely. It's just really, really lovely. So, yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, I could only imagine that the stress and the difficulty at the time when it was all sort of coming, you know, to be known, and then the positive, and then coming out of it in some capacity, and maybe you never do, but that the whole second lease on life probably. And how did that tie in with the business? Is that what motivated the Elusive Miss Lou in some capacity? Was that like a, you know what, this thing I've got to do? It's like I've got to just give it a go, and I've got to, you know, I've got to get out there and make this happen. Is that how that was?
I've got to prove everybody wrong that said, oh no, we don't, you know, if John Hennessy was just all fabric, I don't think it would work. I was like, sod you, I'm going to prove you all wrong. My innate stubbornness was just like, that's it. I'm going to prove you wrong. And kind of, and involving Teiger as well. It was like a little bit of succession planning in there in the back of my head. Yeah. And Teiger's fiance, Mariah, is the most amazing. She's an incredible writer, but she's also an incredible artist. So I could see like,
an all-round person.
Happens, then, an all-round awesome chick. It was her 9-year anniversary yesterday.
She's really cool.
I'm very proud. She's very cool. But even that, you know, it's like, okay, well, Teiger and Mariah have got a business to continue on, like if anything happens. But the legacy. Hey, nothing happens, so I'm still alive.
Yeah.
And I'm not going anywhere.
No, good on you. That's so empowering. I mean, over and above what we've discussed and what you've been able to build, that in itself is inspiring. But when you throw that in, like, I mean, you know, you're basically Superwoman. You know, it's so inspiring, and it's amazing. And
cyborg.
There you go.
I've got like titanium rods in my spine, so it's just like one thing at a time. I'll just become like Neo, or become a robot and live forever.
Got it. I love it. No, it's really inspiring and empowering. So and thank you for sharing that, because I know it's probably something that a little bit tough to discuss, but no, I guess you've made it. It meant something amazing.
It happened. Yeah, and like I said, if it can help anybody else, I'm happy to chat to anybody about it. Like, give me a call. We'll have a cup of tea. And,
that's seriously, that's the whole point of this podcast, to be fair with you. It's about having conversation, speaking to people about things, and learning what makes them, you know, what makes them tick or what makes them not, and how they're learning and how they're growing and what they're getting out of the industry. And yes, there's a business component, really you know, to it, but also it's the connection tool. So if someone hears or resonates with something that's been said in any capacity, whether it's a personal thing, whether it's a business thing, you know, one thing we'll ask, and I'll ask for you at the end of the episode,
100%.
forget if I don't, is how they can get in touch with you and how they can contact you. Don't answer it yet. We'll
Absolutely.
do it at the end. But, you know, hopefully they reach out and they know that is there. So I really appreciate that you've said that. And hopefully if there's anyone listening that feels like that they can reach out to you now, that they perhaps will. what keeps you guys motivated? I mean, like that seems pretty motivating. So I kind of feel like I know that, right? Like being at that end and going, I've got to, let's do it all, right? Like,
let's
what's going to take me down? Yeah.
I think,
but I guess, what is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Teiger and I we're very aware of our mental health as well. And so we do check in all the time. Back to our original plan. Is this why we started Miss Lou? Are we on the right track? Are we, kind of reaching those targets and goals? And it evened out to like, what can we automate and things like that with all the new technology that's available to give us more time to do the human things that we need to do, to contact our customers all the time. What can we do for you? Giving them like the toolbox, like Teiger said, we've got like a whole digital marketing pack that's available with training videos and little stories that they can tell their patients. So doing all that side of thing, just checking in regularly of, are we on the right track?
You've got the DNA effectively of a small business. Now, the one thing I noticed, being a family business too, is the way that our businesses are operated is very similar to our customers' businesses, to be fair. They're generally family orientated. It's husband and wife, or it's, mother and, son, or it's father and daughter, or it's a combination of auntie and cousin. So there is that. How did you guys, and that obviously has its positives like anything and its negatives. And obviously it seems like you have a fantastic relationship and it's a very open one. How do you guys manage that? And I guess what advice or tips do you have to, other business owners within our industry in that same predicament?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? We always say this industry is one that once you get into, you don't leave. It's like, it's the Sceats family. It's 100 years this year.
Wow.
There's been Sceats in optics with Jono's father getting his degree in 1925. We've all got our own roles as well. So when it's, and our office is split. So downstairs is the office and the warehouse, and then upstairs is the house. But we've all got our defined roles, and it's having that trust in each other, I think, of you know what you're doing. Like Teiger is awesome dealing with everybody and, counseling, looking after the reps, looking after the patients. I'll have all the direct contact through social media. So we get, it's amazing and absolutely wonderful is through social media and through email, we get patients that have bought our frames out of the blue, letting us know that they love the frame and, oh, your website, oh, the search function's dropped off. Can you fix that? And thanks for noticing. It's like we're all in this together. But I think as a family business, don't you reckon?
Well, I was going to say you can kind of talk to family in a different way than you could talk to other people that you work with. Like we can really, argue and like it's
respectfully
a safe space to do that. And we, sometimes might shout and sometimes have an argument and stuff. But at the end of the day, I think that's the greatest strength of a family business is that everyone can be totally open and honest with knowing that at the end of the day, you're still family no matter what.
Yeah.
So you can kind of, really fight for what you believe in. Is sometimes like,
it's that real safe space, I think. And that's the key term. So even if you overstepped the little mark a little bit, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, like maybe I did, maybe
exactly.
I said a little bit but I think fundamentally that it is all for the best intention of the business, and you guys are just, everyone's doing what they think is the right thing, and that from that point of view. And I think when it is family, you kind of have that, which makes sense. But I guess sometimes it means that you maybe push it a bit too far. Sometimes,
exactly.
You could be a bit
especially
with your family. It's
and especially husbands and wives.
Well, yes.
Poor Jono, sometimes it's like at the end of the day, it's like, I'm so sorry I snapped at you. You're amazing. I think he's a very good mediator.
Marriage counselor.
Cool.
Oh dear.
Is that are you on the payroll for that as well? Or
yes.
I should be.
You should be.
If you need marriage counselling, give Teiger a call.
The other side of the business card.
You should be a therapist.
Gotcha. Cool. No, it's good. It's good fun. I guess as we start to wrap up the conversation today, which has been really enlightening and I've really enjoyed it thoroughly. What's one key piece of advice that you'd encourage, or you'd want to leave with independent optometry practices, owners, dispensers that are listening today? Like, if there's one thing you want to tell them or share with them, what would it be?
For me, I think it's just that family mantra again. It's quality, comfort, and fit. If you want, something like that. And it's also, for me, it's the huge thing of just seeing the joy on someone's face when they put on a frame that fits well, that they look amazing and not 10 years off. That's what it's all about. That's what it all distills down to, is just that joy that you get.
And I think we've all been there when someone's put a frame on and it's just been it's like, wow, that's awesome. Like that's so good on you.
Best
like
feeling.
You look amazing.
Yeah.
The film star.
And we're not speaking even about the feeling that they get with the vision correction side of it, because obviously today we're focusing more on the frame and the fashion side of it. But then so it's like a double whammy for them. They're like, wow, everything's clear and awesome. But not only that, I also look better. So like, hey, I've
amazing.
I've seen that. So I totally can resonate with that.
Yeah, I'd also say from the other side is like the toolbox that I've been talking about and things. It's like permission to have fun. Like have fun when people come in, talk about the stories and have a read and see if you like them, and talk about how, Lou's doing this and it's a family business and it's funny. We've got the names of each of the models are fun. It's not numbers, it's all names and things, and call me and ask me about some of the jokes that we've hidden in there. Like, there's a couple of things in there that's
awesome.
that I'll tell you about in person. But it's these little stories and things.
Off the record.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, off the record ones.
Little...
Yeah. What were you meaning?
Yeah, exactly. So it's stuff like that, enjoy yourself with it. That's the point.
Yeah.
Cool. No, I love that. I love that. Bringing it back down to fun and personality and enjoyment.
Joy.
I think that's a good message. And finally, as promised, I mean, what's the best way for people to learn more about the Elusive Miss Lou, or to get in touch with either of you?
Easy. Go on, Teiger.
Oh, yeah. Go on the website, theelusivemissLou.com. That's got all of the frames. You can see it all with all the stories, our story. Call me. It's actually, the business number is my personal phone number. So, 0414908841. Give me a call.
And then if Teiger's busy, if you're busy, then you just transfer the phone to me. So then that's on my personal number. So if you ring the main number, you'll speak to literally
You'll
Teiger,
get to either of us. hello@theelusivemissLou.com is the best email.
Okay.
Sue, say hello.
Yeah.
Cool. And we can have those details in the show notes too. So if anyone's interested in reaching out, feel free to go there, and those connections are there. But guys, thank you so much for the call today. I had such a good time, and it's really inspiring what you guys are doing and kicking goals, and congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you guys grow as well as you sort of evolve it all out.
Absolutely.
And once again, I appreciate your time.
No, I just want to give you a massive thank you so much for doing this and being a voice for little places like us, because it's
for independence.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
it's not always easy to get the voice out.
Yeah. And together, we've got a big voice, haven't we?
Exactly. I think so.
With the suppliers, with the independent practices, I think, John, the statistics, like 40% of Australians are employed by small business. So, collectively, we are strong.
You're mighty.
Yeah.
We are. No, I think that message, and again, it's finding that audience that wants to listen to that as well. So I think it's an important one. And we're out there sort of pushing that cause too. So
love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Really interesting questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
Stay connected by subscribing to The Focused View and visiting our website, www.thefocusedview.com.au, for additional resources and episode summaries. We look forward to your company again in our next episode. Until then, keep focused. I'm Michael Nasser. Bye for now.